Heaven knows who hurt you. And the answer is already on its way. The Watcher of Wounds. My beloved child. Heaven knows. Every tear you hid, every night you pretended to be strong when your soul was shattering, every time you smiled just to keep others from worrying, none of it was unseen. The silence that followed your pain was not abandonment. It was observation. Heaven was recording not your weakness, but your worth. And now the season of response has begun. There were moments when you asked, "Why me?" and the heavens seemed mute. But silence is not forgetfulness, it is preparation. When angels investigate pain, they move slowly, collecting truth with precision. Archangel Michael himself walked the corridors of your sorrow, touching each memory you thought was wasted. She endured here, he said. He stayed faithful here. They forgave here. Every time you chose compassion instead of bitterness, light documented it. Every time you cried but still got up, heaven noted the date. Do not mistake delay for denial. The answer has been forming in silence, gaining momentum in the invisible. What was broken is already being rewritten. The people who wounded you are not your story's ending, they are footnotes in a chapter that leads to restoration. Heaven's justice does not shout, it rearranges. Events shift, hearts soften, opportunities reappear. Nothing happens by coincidence. The clock of divine timing never stops ticking, even when you can't hear it. I, Archangel Michael, was there when you couldn't breathe through grief. I saw the betrayal, the manipulation, the words that cut deeper than knives. I saw how you prayed for them instead of cursing them, and that is why heaven moved on your behalf. Every wrong done to you has become a seed of reversal. Even now, doors are aligning, and circumstances are preparing to prove what your pain was worth. Listen, heaven does not return pain as punishment, it returns it as purpose. Those who hurt you will encounter the mirror of their own intentions. Not because vengeance demands it, but because truth requires it. The energy they gave will visit them, not to destroy them, but to awaken them. You do not need to defend yourself. Heaven has already built your defense in the hearts of those who once doubted you. You are about to witness favor in places you were once rejected. This is the hour of divine reply. You are walking into days that will make sense of the nights that almost broke you. Forgiveness was not wasted, it was the key that unlocked restoration. Every act of restraint, every choice to remain kind, every time you whispered, "God, handle it," instead of retaliating, those were your court testimonies in the kingdom. And the verdict has been written, not guilty, but chosen. Heaven knows who hurt you, beloved. Heaven knows what you lost. And heaven knows how to return it without you lifting a finger. The answer is not coming, it's already moving. You will see the evidence soon in conversations that shift, in opportunities that call your name, in peace that feels like proof. I, Michael, have seen the order sealed. The process has begun. The answer is on its way, and this time, it carries your healing with it. The arrival of the answer. My beloved child, the hour that felt distant has arrived. The wind you hear tonight is not ordinary air, it carries instruction. Heaven has dispatched movement in your direction. The very silence that once pressed on your chest now hums with approaching footsteps. What was delayed has remembered its assignment. The answer is not traveling from afar, it has been forming in the spaces between your prayers. Do you feel the sudden stirring inside you, that strange calm that doesn't make sense yet? That's the first sign of heaven's motion. Before miracles appear outside, they always rehearse within. The unease you once mistook for emptiness is actually expansion. Heaven had to widen your capacity before it could deliver what it promised. And now that widening is complete. I, Archangel Michael, stand at the threshold of your new beginning. My sword is drawn, but not to strike, to separate blessing from blockage, to clear paths that have been waiting for your permission to open. The unseen machinery of justice is already in motion. People are waking in the night with conviction to make things right with you. Conversations that were meant to destroy your name are reversing mid-sentence. Those who plotted in secret now feel their plans dissolve like mist under morning sun. You will begin to notice alignment everywhere. An unexpected call that opens opportunity. A message you thought would never come finally finding your inbox. A stranger saying the exact words you needed to hear. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Heaven prefers subtlety when it works, not thunder, but precision. Every element of creation is being tuned like a choir around your destiny. You once begged for explanation. Now heaven offers demonstration. The same people who overlooked you will need your guidance. The doors that refused you will search for your footsteps. Do not gloat, simply walk through them with grace. Justice from heaven is not revenge, it is restoration without bitterness. It heals both sides by proving that light cannot be extinguished. Look around you now. Can you feel the pressure easing from your mind, the heaviness breaking from your chest? That is the atmosphere of answered prayer. Every angel assigned to your life has returned from its mission with reports of completion. What was stolen has been accounted for. The ledger of loss has been closed. Recompense, whispers the wind, return with interest. The years that felt empty will yield double harvest. Every silent endurance has compounded into favor you did not expect. The answer's arrival will not be loud, it will be layered. It will come through peace that refuses to leave, through timing that stops arguing, through understanding that no longer hurts. You will wake one morning and realize the ache is gone, not because time healed it, but because heaven replaced it. You will see the same roads that once led to disappointment guiding you toward destiny. The scenery hasn't changed, but you have, and that was always the real miracle. Michael lifts his sword high, the blade glowing like dawn contained in metal. The order is fulfilled, he declares. What they tried to delay has been delivered. What they tried to silence has been sung. The heavens respond not with thunder, but with stillness, the sacred silence that follows completion. You stand there, trembling not from fear but from relief. The war you fought alone has ended quietly. The proof that heaven saw everything is the peace now flooding you. You ask, is it truly over? And the angel answers, no, child, it has only turned. The pain has become purpose, the loss has become leverage, the wound has become wisdom. He places a hand on your heart. Feel that rhythm? That is heaven speaking through your pulse. Every beat now says, the answer is here. From this day forward, you will notice the subtle symmetry of divine reply. Where you cried, laughter will live. Where you were betrayed, loyalty will bloom. Where you were silenced, your voice will be sought. Heaven wastes nothing. Even your heartbreak was harvested for healing others. And the proof will keep unfolding, not all at once, but in waves, each one softer and stronger than the last. So breathe, beloved. The waiting season has graduated into witnessing season. The same heaven that watched who hurt you has written who helps you next. I, Michael, have sealed this phase in light. What was meant to wound has become weaponized wisdom. The answer has arrived, and it carries your restoration in full measure. It will not pass you by, because it carries your name written in flame. And as the angel turns, the wind around you steadies into calm. The night no longer feels heavy. Every shadow seems thinner, as if light had finally decided to stay. Somewhere, in the unseen distance, justice finishes its circle, silent, accurate, unstoppable. The answer is already here. The silent deliverance. My beloved child, you've entered the hour where silence begins to speak. The same quiet that once frightened you has become the sound of completion. What you could not see forming in the unseen has stepped into motion around you. This is the stage of deliverance, not loud, not dramatic, but definite. Heaven moves like breath, invisible, constant, undeniable. You will not need to chase what is meant for you anymore. It is already tracing your steps. Those who were blind to your worth are starting to feel the absence of your light. The conversations you never heard are being corrected without you speaking a word. Heaven's justice does not need an audience, it simply arranges outcomes until peace feels inevitable. Archangel Michael walks through the corridors of your life, his sword sheathed, his armor dimmed to match the tone of restoration. This is how deliverance looks, he says softly. No thunder, no spectacle, only realignment. He touches memories, and they lose their sting. He passes by old fears, and they forget your name. The ground beneath your feet steadies, not because it became smoother, but because your soul learned balance. You start to notice small miracles first. A door that once slammed now opens gently. A heart that once resented you now prays for you. Bills get paid unexpectedly. Plans delayed for years begin to move with supernatural ease. What once required endless effort now responds to presence alone. That is the signature of divine deliverance, effort replaced by ease, tension replaced by timing. Michael pauses beside you as you walk, invisible but tangible, a steady presence that hums in your bones. Do you remember the nights you begged for answers? He asks. You nod. Those prayers became blueprints. Heaven didn't ignore them, it drafted them. Every tear drew a line. Every surrender marked a door. What you see unfolding now is construction finished. Deliverance rarely feels like a rescue, it feels like recognition. You begin to recognize yourself again, not the weary version shaped by wounds, but the original soul you were before betrayal bent your trust. Heaven has returned that version to you, whole and wiser. The people meant to walk with you begin to appear, not by accident but by orchestration. Destiny has remembered its appointments. The world around you starts to respond to your healed frequency. Strangers treat you differently. Even time seems to slow down in your favor. The old urgency to explain, to prove, to justify, dissolves. You realize heaven doesn't vindicate through words, it vindicates through peace. And the kind of peace you now carry cannot be faked, it has history behind it. In the stillness, Michael speaks again. Those who hurt you will come to understand, not through punishment but perspective. What they did out of cruelty will one day convict them into kindness. You will not need to witness their lessons, your assignment is finished there. The circle has closed. He gestures toward the horizon, where dawn begins to glow faintly. See that light? That is the record of your endurance made visible. Every time you forgave, it added another sunrise to your timeline. Now the world must rise with you. As you walk into that light, memories that once weighed you down feel lighter. You no longer need closure because you've outgrown the room that required it. Deliverance means freedom from needing what once defined you. The hurt no longer has authority. The lesson remains, but the sting is gone. Heaven's fire, once fierce, now burns warm. It no longer consumes, it comforts. Michael lowers his sword and presses its tip into the earth. Let peace take root, he declares. And as he speaks, you feel something rise from the ground, hope, steady and bright. It spreads through streets, homes, hearts. You sense others being freed through the vibration of your release. That is how heaven multiplies healing. One liberated soul becomes 1,000 unlocked doors. You pause and look back one last time. The path behind you glows faintly, footprints made of gold dust, evidence of how far grace carried you. Will I ever forget the pain, you ask? Michael's voice, now more like wind than speech, answers gently, you won't forget, but it will never hurt again. Memory without pain is wisdom. That is the final stage of deliverance. Heaven knows who hurt you. Heaven saw every moment. But heaven also knew when to step in. The answer has not only arrived, it has become you. You are the living proof of response, the miracle in motion. Wherever you go next, peace will go before you. Favor will follow behind you, and the silence that once haunted you will now protect you. Walk, child of light. Deliverance is not a destination. It is your new way of being. The season of return. Morning arrives differently now. It no longer sneaks through the curtains, it pours in, confident, like a guest that finally knows it is welcome. The air tastes new, the colors seem gentler, and even time feels cooperative. This is what heaven's completion looks like, ordinary life humming at a higher frequency. Nothing extravagant, yet everything aligned. Archangel Michael walks beside you as before, but his steps leave no fire, only warmth. The season of return, he says quietly, is not about replacing what was lost. It is about revealing what never left. You glance around, the same city, the same streets, yet something inside them has shifted. It is as though the world now recognizes you by light instead of name. Opportunities once locked begin to knock. People who once doubted you now speak your language without knowing why. Invitations arrive that fit your destiny like custom garments. You do not chase them, they gravitate toward you, pulled by the gravity of readiness. For readiness is a magnet heaven trusts. The first return is peace, thicker, steadier than before. It fills rooms before you enter, rewriting atmosphere. The second is provision, doors open where you feared scarcity, ideas turn to income, effort multiplies in quiet proportion. The third is restoration, connections mended, voices softened, misunderstandings cleared not by explanation but by evolution. People changed because you changed, they are meeting a new version of you and finding forgiveness there. Michael watches with a calm pride. What they took was surface. What you gained is substance. Surface fades, substance multiplies. He raises his hand, and the wind bends around you like silk. In that movement you sense the invisible economy of heaven, nothing wasted, everything reassigned. Pain traded for purpose, loss exchanged for legacy. Every act of patience has been accruing interest, and now the dividends appear as divine timing. You walk through your day and find signs everywhere. A stranger repeats words you once heard in prayer. A song plays with lyrics that sound like confirmation. Even the number on the clock aligns with memories of your endurance. Synchronicity has become heaven's handwriting. It writes across the minutes, you are seen. You are sustained. You are sent. There are still traces of the past, scars, shadows, echoes, but they no longer intimidate. They testify. Return does not erase, Michael explains. It integrates. You begin to understand that completion is not about forgetting, it's about transforming memory into strength. The same stories that once broke you now build bridges for others. People sit before you, telling their pain, and your silence heals them faster than advice could. That is inheritance. At dusk, you walk to the river, the old witness of every chapter. The water glows gold, reflecting a sky unburdened. Michael stands across the current, his armor dimmed to the color of evening. Do you see? He calls. The current flows both ways now. And indeed, the river seems to shimmer upstream as well as down, carrying what was lost back toward you in liquid procession, fragments of joy, forgotten dreams, abandoned courage. They reassemble quietly in your heart, piece by luminous piece. You kneel, letting your fingers graze the water. It feels familiar, cool, forgiving. The angel's voice folds into the wind, every return carries instruction. Receive, but remember, abundance is maintenance, not excess. Keep what feeds light, release what clutters it. You nod, understanding that restoration is responsibility. What has been given back must be stewarded with grace. Night deepens. The first stars appear, old companions, steady witnesses. One by one they brighten until the sky looks like a record of promises kept. You realize that this moment is not a reward, it is a reminder, heaven never stopped moving. You were simply being aligned to its rhythm. You rise from the riverbank lighter than you sat down. Behind you, the city hums with quiet gratitude, ahead of you, the horizon opens like an unending invitation. The voice of Archangel Michael closes the scene. Walk gently, returned one. What you hold now is not compensation, it is continuation. Carry it wisely, for peace must circulate to remain alive. The season of return is not an ending, it is the earth breathing with heaven again.